was a catastrophic nuclear accident. It affected many people's lives. One of those people we are going to meet today. She will talk to us about the change that Chernobyl brought to her life. Also, she will speak about her childhood in Moldova and Ukraine. The Humanities Communication Arts Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Benjamin Papalardo, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you're about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they've completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a person whose birthplace and early childhood were affected by the nuclear explosion, which is known as Chernobyl. Now, I would like you to meet our guest today, Elena Rusnac. Hi, how are you? So, Elena, tell us about Chernobyl and how it affected your life.
Well, Chernobyl was a nuclear accident that happened in April in 1986. It affected many people's lives and affected Ukraine and all its surrounded areas. It is considered the worst nuclear accident of all time. An explosion and fire released high-level radiation into the air, so it was a devastating time for Ukraine. And before it all happened, my parents met in the 70s. My mom was actually the one who approached my dad. She pretended like she knew who he was and started speaking with him. 2 months later, they got married in Ukraine. The pictures that you see right now, it is actually the pictures of Chernobyl.
This is after the accident?
Yes, that's after the accident that happened. And these are my parents that you see. They were 19 each. They had just met. And after that, they married 2 months later. And they did not tell their parents about the marriage because it happened so fast. After that, in 1986, my mom was pregnant with me. That same year, Chernobyl happened. Because of the high level of radiation, it was not a healthy environment for any pregnant woman. It was not a safe environment for anyone, in fact. My parents had decided to move to Moldova. Moldova is located between Ukraine and Romania. At that time, it was a rich country in agriculture. My early childhood was the best time of my life. Mostly we had everything we needed, and most importantly, there was not as much radiation in the air. As I grew up, as time went by, Moldova began falling behind in economy. It became very difficult to live in Moldova. At times there were no electricity for the whole day. It was only turned on for a few hours in a day. There were no jobs. People had no money to pay for the bills. Slowly, Moldova became one of the poorest countries in Europe. After some time, my parents had moved back to Ukraine. And I spent 5 years of my life there. It was a good feeling to go back to my roots and see where I was from. However, I consider myself Moldovan, and even though my nationality is Ukrainian. So it was a good experience.
Looks like a beautiful place.
Yes.
Yes. So, could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Well, I had decided to take the TV production course because I was interested what goes behind the cameras. I was interested in learning the whole process of it, and the whole process of shooting, editing, and taping videos.
Right. Well, among those things, what are some of the most important things that you think you've learned in this course?
The most useful I had learned was actually to use the tripod, and I learned how to use Avid and how to shoot the videos and actually go back and put it into the Avid and edit it.
Right, of course. Well, among the productions that you made, I know you've made a lot for this class, such as the Learning Project, the Action Sequence, the New England Seasonal Project, and probably the biggest one, the Orange Project. What were some of these projects like to make?
The first one was the Learning Project. This was my first time using tripod and camera. It was a good experience. I tried my best to use more details in the shot, and it was very hard because the tripod, it was very hard for me to use because you have to make it shorter and then make it
just the
taller.
levels of it constantly.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, so. And then the next project was my action sequence. With this one, I felt more comfortable using the tripod and camera. I had to use the storyboard so to keep the track of all of my takes. So when I went into the Avid to edit it, it would be easier for me to keep the track which of the shots to use. And next one was my New England Seasonal Project. For this one, I had to showcase S lines and C lines, which represent grace and elegance. Also, I had to use vertical lines to showcase the power and dominance. And this one I had the most fun with because it was just so easy to show how beautiful Connecticut is during the winter time. And this one was this one is my Orange Project. This is just the raw footage of my Orange Project. It is not editing. It's not edited yet. It's just different takes that I had to take to use later on in my Avid. With this one, I had to use storyboard as well, so I then keep the track of which shots to use later on into the Avid. This one is, it's not complete yet, but it'll be once I complete it, I will use that.
Seems like a lot of shots to make such a short clip.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Well, I know you had one project that you felt was your best. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. My best project was definitely New England project because I felt very easy just to shot the different lines. This one was the vertical line, which is the tree, which represents the power and dominance. And I also had used the audio with that goes with the nature scenery. And this one I shot at the Cove Beach in Stamford, Connecticut. I had a great time doing that.
Looks like a beautiful place.
Yeah. And then this is the horizontal lines. That I had used. And this was the shift focus. I was kind of having a hard time with the shift focus, but I had tried my best.
Seems like it came out reasonably well, though.
Yeah, thank you.
And you mentioned the variety of things you've learned in this course throughout our discussion here. What was probably the most important skill that you've learned throughout this class?
The most important skill I had learned in this class would definitely be using the switcher in the control room, because of that, you're able to take directions from the director and put on the program camera 1 or camera 2 or the host or the guest, and I feel like that's the most important and most interesting job to me, and hopefully I'll see that as my future in a career.
All right, well, thank you very much, Elena.
Thanks.
Well, today we got to meet someone who shared with us about her life being affected by the Chernobyl and her life in Ukraine and Moldova. I'd like to thank our guest, Elena Rusnac, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed meeting some of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and good day.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Benjamin Papalardo, directed by Nadia Ayad. I'm your announcer, Brett Wist. Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.